Alrighty. How have you grown as a reader through the course? Honestly, before, if I picked up a book and started reading it, I just couldn't, honestly. There had to be certain books for me to read them. Like, I'd read, like, the first couple of pages, and if I couldn't, like, if I wasn't into it, I couldn't read it. It was going in through one ear, right out the other one. But I thought that's how it was going to be for when we read As I Lay Dying, but honestly it wasn't. I think going deep into the poetry in the beginning of the year honestly helped me concentrate more when it came to reading reading other books. So then once we started reading As I Lay Dying, honestly was when I started to do the 5 book readings. So it made it easier to read those books because then I could actually understand what was going on better, and it made more sense and was more interesting. So I feel like that's how I've grown as a reader through the course. What is the most important idea or argument that was generated in discussions? You can explain this concept. Okay, so the most important idea I feel is when you kept saying to, like, okay, you said what is the author trying to bring to the thing instead of like the actual characters, because the author makes these characters the way they are for a specific reason, for a specific purpose. And I really think that helped when I was thinking about like everything, because everybody acts like a certain way for like a certain thing, and that goes to the next question about why it's an important concept and how it's applied to like life, because everybody does something for a specific for a specific purpose. So the author makes each character the way they are and what they do for a specific reason. So as life goes on, everyone does something for a reason, and then there's a consequence at the end. So the author does that the same way with characters. How do you think this issue is viewed by those whom disagree with you? I feel like maybe they just don't quite understand. That's why they wouldn't agree. So they just think that the characters are their own person. However, if you think into it, they're not. The author is. Yeah. How can you use what you learned in this course outside the 4 walls of our classroom? Throughout this course, it made me think deeper about things, rather than I used to think very shallow and everything was right to me, and there was only basically there's only one right way, and that one right way was my way. But now I think deeper, and I can see other people's thoughts. Like, I can take what they say into consideration better, and I can actually change my own opinion about something, and I don't have to argue my own point as much. Like, I can see their point and bring it into mine and mix it together, so it's not just oh, that's wrong. It's like, oh, you're right, and conclusion, yada yada yada, whoop de whoop. Yeah. How can you use what you learned in this course after graduation? With the same thing, because I'm actually going to be a double major of Spanish and English, so I'm gonna actually probably use most of this within the next 4 years of life, and then I'm gonna be an immigration lawyer, go to law school and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna be using a lot of critical thinking, a lot. What advice do you have for future learners in this classroom? Honestly, read the books ahead of time. Do not wait till the last minute, because then writing all those essays at one time, it's a handful. And thinking about all the AP tests that you have coming up, you have to study for all the AP tests and finish reading and doing all the essays for all these books. It's a mess. It really is. So that, and actually, I'd say actually read the passages that you give us, because I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't read all the passages that you gave us. Like, at the beginning of the year, you gave us like a passage, and like, like the yellow wallpaper, I hardly read that, and that one about the man and the walls and mirrors and stuff, I didn't read that one at all. So like, I'd say really read them, because then it helps when you're going on to look at other things. Because there were some times when I was like completely lost. I didn't understand anything, and like everyone else was like communicating and comprehending what was going on, and I didn't understand any of it. So then it made me feel very lost, and I felt a little behind. So then I had to like figure out what they were talking about and stuff. But yeah, that's that. Have a great summer, bud. And yeah, I'm gonna come back and visit you because you're great. And even though you want to act like this hardcore teacher, you're like super nice, and I liked it. I really like your personality. You're like very inside, but you're like very broad also. It's great.